Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Norma Salo and I'm really glad to be here. Thank you very much for the love that you showed me on my first video, my intro video. Thank you so much. Today I'm going to be talking about something extremely interesting. I'm going to be talking about 5 things that will shock you about marriage. I haven't been married for too long. I've been married for about 9 years. Been 9 years this year. But I have, I think, gathered enough experience in the time that I've been married to be able to, handle or tackle this subject. Now, this subject I feel will be very helpful for people who haven't got married yet, or who are looking to be married at some point in their lives. And then also it will be very helpful for people who are in early stages of their marriage, so that when things begin to happen, when you begin to see certain things, you're not so shocked. I'm going to sort of demystify the whole thing for you. So the first thing I'll be talking about today is the first thing that might shock you when you get married is that you are not perfect. Now, the truth of the matter is that a lot of us have a wonderful opinion of ourselves. We have, I think, more than an accurate opinion of ourselves. We usually think that we're wonderful people, we're spec, wonderful, fantastic, wonderful addition to anybody's life. And for a number of us, it might be true, but sometimes we overestimate ourselves. I think that's what I'm trying to say. And you'll find out when you get into marriage that it sort of brings out kind of the monster in you, or those little habits that you didn't deal with when you were on your own. When you begin to live with somebody permanently for a couple of months, a couple of years, you find out that those things begin to surface, and surface frequently. All those little selfishness, impatience, malice, unreasonableness, just something about being in close living arrangement with a man or a woman, begin to react in certain ways, and it might shock you. You find yourself just kind of misbehaving. So I think that early on it's good for you to get a handle on certain things that are going on in your life, certain habits that you have, and I think you need to deal with them. You need to learn to manage your emotions, or else I promise you, when you get into marriage, you find that you flare up at the easiest things. You even have the capacity to carry on malicious behavior with somebody that you claimed at some point to be helplessly or hopelessly in love with. So that's the first thing that might shock you about marriage, that you, my friend, are not perfect. The second thing that might shock you about marriage is when you find out that your spouse is not perfect. Oh wow, he's not perfect. Yes, because he's a human being, and no human being can be perfect. So he or she will knowingly or unknowingly do things that might hurt you, irritate you, tick you off. And that's perfectly normal. It will come home to you when you realize that some of the things that used to be so romantic to you or so attractive to you begin to irritate you. For example, a spouse that was very talkative, and you say things like, oh, he talks to me, he lets me know about every single inch of his day. Suddenly he becomes like a talkative, or he or she becomes like a talkative, and you can't really hear yourself. I mean, why is he talking all the time? You can't hear yourself. Or you find out that somebody who used to be cool, calm, and collected, and then all of a sudden you're like, she's not listening to me, she's not responding to me. Why is they not being responsive? Why are they being non-communicative? Or somebody who used to be careful, somebody who used to be organized, tidy, all of a sudden just seem like they're extra finicky and picking after you, and it becomes annoying. So you just quickly get with the program and make allowances for flaws for human beings, because you would like for them to make allowances for you. And that's it. Don't set unnecessary standards for anybody. Don't set unnecessary standards for your spouse. The third thing that might shock you about marriage is that you're not always right, and that you don't always have to agree with somebody that you love. For some reason, conflicts sometimes can be uncomfortable for a lot of us. You'll find out that you feel that if I love him, or if she loves me, then she should always agree with me. Her opinion should always toe the same line as my opinions, but not really, because everybody's entitled to their opinion. And the truth is that these opinions will vary for as many topics as you people will decide to engage yourselves in. So major thing is that you have to come to a point where you amicably disagree. You allow people to air their views, and then if you are not unable to find a meeting point, then you just take it that we don't agree on this matter, and that's fine. We can go on loving each other. I mean, don't ever let disagreements get to the point where there are arguments. Don't get heated. You find out sometimes when you're in the beginning of a marriage that you can get a little bit overly excited about disagreements or arguments. You find out that you're unhappy that she doesn't believe what you believe in, or he doesn't believe what you believe in. Remember that he or she is coming from a completely different perspective and, you know, way of life, and they see things differently than you. So your way is not the only way, and your way is not the best way. There is such a thing as disagreeing amicably and disagreeing respectfully. So he feels this and you feel that. We don't agree. Good day, sir. Let's move on with life. It doesn't happen instantly, but you can come to a point where arguments don't just have to cause you to fall apart or make you feel like, oh, our union is at stake, etc., etc. Just a little bit of communication and compromise, and you'll quickly move past this. The fourth thing that will shock you about marriage is that the dynamics of your sex life might change. When you get married, at first, it's all no holds barred, anywhere, anytime, anyhow. But fast forward a bit, if and when kids come in, the dynamics will definitely change. Oh yes, the woman who's just had a baby might become hormonal. The parents who are attending to a baby night and day might become tired, and you realize that frequency is going down, desire might be going down, and then it can be a little bit jarring for you. But don't be shocked, don't be worried. It's not the end of the world. It's just a phase that you usually have to go through. In constant communication and understanding, you can definitely go through this phase. Even when the kids get a little bit older, you'll find out that the dynamics too will change. You're maybe not giving them as much care as you did when they were newborns, but then you find out that you have to carve out a safe time, because the toddlers are going from one room to the other, waking up in the middle of the night and walking into different places. So you have to find out when can sex happen, where can it happen, and how much noise can we make. Enough said. The fifth thing that might shock you about marriage is that happily ever after actually takes a while. Now, when you watch Cinderella or Snow White or Beauty and the Beast, any of all those old fairy tales, you find out that boy meets girl, boy and girl kiss, boy and girl have a lavish wedding and go on to live happily ever after. They just set into this, sail into the sunset and have a very happy life. But in actuality, in real life, it always doesn't happen like that. Why? Because nobody is just because you're married, just because you get married, doesn't turn you into a husband or a wife. First of all, note that being a husband or a wife is very subjective to the person that you're with. So there's no like preset standard like, oh, this is how to be a wife or this is how to be a husband. How to be a wife and husband is going to change based on who you are with. And you're going to have to learn to be a wife and learn to be a husband based on the needs and wants and the desires of the person that you're with. So don't get disappointed, for example, if your spouse is not, meeting up with your expectation, because you're just coming together and he or she has to learn, he or she has to know what it is that you like, what it is that you don't like, what it is that appeals to you, and it's actually a process. The process of a union being forged actually takes a while. So you're spending time with each other, you're communicating your needs to each other, and you're just you're attacking challenges together, you're doing things together, and you're finally learning how to be husband and wife. You're forging that union. You're probably going to go through the fire. I want to say that this happens over a couple of months, but it might not happen over a couple of months. It might actually take some time. It might take some months, might take some years, depending on how willing both parties are. So you go through all that, you go through the fire that will refine your love and sort of authenticate it, and you're very well on your way to your happily ever after. Now, I know I said I was going to give you 5 things that might shock you about marriage, but I want to give you an extra one, a bonus, and that is that your partner is not a mind reader. So when you hear people say things like communication is key, there's a reason why everybody's saying that, and that's because it is true. You need to be able to speak up and say what it is that you want in a relationship, in a loving relationship, because nobody's going to just sit down and know exactly what it is that you're thinking in your heart. And a lot of disagreements usually will come from just thinking that your partner knows what you want or knows what's expected, and they're not doing it. So the earlier you learn the art of communicating, the better for your marriage. If you want something, even little things, don't feel shy, don't feel, you know, like you're asking for too much. This is somebody you're going to spend the rest of your life with, so you better start talking and talking quick. So if there's something that you want, something that you don't understand, if you feel offended, just lovingly let that person know, and then, you know, just practice it regularly and it becomes second nature to you. So those are the 5 things that I think that will shock you about marriage. There might be other things, and I'd like for you in the comment section to let me know, were there other things that shocked you about marriage? That's for married people, and I hope this will help somebody out there to realize that, you know what, if you are in the beginning part of your relationship and it just seems like you're being attacked by these little things, it's not the end of the world. It is not a make or break situation. It's just something that you have to go through on your way to your happily ever after. Guys, I've really enjoyed myself, and I hope you have. Please, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I release new content. And until next time, when I see you,